The Lo-Fi Horror Guys Growing on You Live Season 15 is sponsored by Metal Blade Records. Metal Blade Records was formed in 1982 and still remains independent with offices worldwide. Throughout the years, the label has released material for countless renowned acts such as Metallica and Slayer, and is currently home to Amon Amarth, the Black Dahlia Murder, Cannibal Corpse, Space Chaser, and many other legendary artists. You can find Metal Blade Records on social media as well as metalblade.com to find the latest news and new releases. Once again, find them on social media as well as metalblade.com.
Internet. Taylor,
What's
what
up?
is up, dude?
How's it going? How's my audio?
Oh man, it sounds good, dude. You know what I'm
All right.
saying? It's as good as headphones are gonna do. But everything's well. How you doing this morning?
Not bad.
I didn't think about until I chimed in the time. As far as you're at like 9 a.m. right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry if it's a little too early. I should have thought of that shit as far as
No, it's
a
good.
little
It's
bit of the
better
difference
than
in time.
that's better than middle of the day for sure.
Oh shit. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
perfect. Awesome. All right. Well, first and foremost, man, I have to say thank you very much for taking your time today. This is so sick. Huge fan of a lot of the stuff that all the stuff that you have, a part of, and bands that you're in, different things. So this is going to be very, very sick. Today we have, I'm Growing on You Live here. We have one introduction question. The remainder of the interview is about you and your craft, your career in music here. And then I have one finale that's written just for this episode. So if you're all set and you're all ready, my dude, we're gonna get digging into this bad boy here.
Sounds good. Let's rock.
All right, let me ask you first of all. My wife and I do a little traveling. All right, so if we're coming through Van Nuys, okay, and we're looking for a local restaurant or a eatery, what would be something that you would recommend? That's something that's just like a personal favorite.
Uh, Personal favorite, but also nationally legendary is salsa and beer.
Oh,
There's actually
okay.
two locations that are fucking insane. If you look at the back of the recent God's Hate record, we are standing in front of the restaurant on purpose.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. Damn.
Yeah.
So is this literally like this is what they're known for? Their salsa and beer. That's what you're
It's
going for.
it's well, I mean, I don't drink, but the salsa is good. They have like a crazy salsa bar, but it's really the food. They could
Okay.
call it burritos and beer, and it would be a more fitting name. But
Okay.
yeah, it's insane. And I have friends that literally fly here to go eat there.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah,
Damn.
it's
Well,
it's
what's the
good.
go-to for you as far as when you go?
I usually either get just a carne asada burrito, which actually comes. It's like the biggest fucking thing ever, and it's a wet burrito, so you eat it with a knife and fork. And then
Okay.
they also have a California burrito, which is not typically like a normal California burrito. You go, it's a handheld burrito, and it's got French fries in it. Basically, that's all they're saying. But this one is
Oh. Okay.
chicken, shrimp, steak, and has like a cream sauce. It's fucking insane. Now you're making me hungry, and it's 9 a.m.
Yeah. Have to go stop there after this shit.
Yeah, maybe.
Nice, nice. All right, well, that's sick. I appreciate that. So digging into that a little bit, with your musical taste. So before all this, kind of bringing it back to as a young man, what were some initial, songs or albums that really resonated with you? Maybe even before, knowing that you had an interest in music. What were some early things that you can remember that really stuck out to you?
Uh, Probably Led Zeppelin, Black Dog, and basically the entirety of Black Sabbath, Paranoid. My dad is a drummer, and my mom plays piano, so it was always musical from
Oh,
the get
okay.
go. Yeah,
Okay, gotcha. So they had a lot of things laying around the house too, as far as records and different things like that.
yeah. My dad had a bunch of tapes. That's kind of what he had. So he would always blast them in the car or at home.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Okay, okay. And then as far as like with Black Sabbath, were there different things that kind of drew you in? Was that the initial like draw into heavy music?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think I was just drawn to it immediately, and then it kind of became like the quest for who could chug the hardest. like after I heard like Soundgarden, I heard like they have that song Fourth of July that's like the most insane palm mutes with melodic vocals on it. And so I was like,
Yeah.
okay, how do I find this but more aggressive? And then I, I had to like beg him to get a fucking Metallica record for me, and it took a long time. It ended up being my older brother
Really?
who had he had a bunch of friends that were into hardcore when he was in high school, and they left like Hatebreed's Fury of Five and like stuff like that in his car, and I that was the true gateway.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Okay. What was the push against Metallica? Was it just something that
Um,
you guys didn't have on hand, or?
if he just that was like too extreme to him for some reason, or he thought it was like fuck your mom, fuck your dad kind of music or something like that. So
Oh,
like,
okay.
but Black Sabbath wasn't. I don't know. It was kind of weird.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. That rocks. That rocks. I mean, as
Yeah.
far as so, kind of going along with, earlier times too, pre-internet, as far as, how we had to discover, new bands through cover art or maybe even like an album's thank you lists. What were, what's an album that pops in mind as far as something that maybe you're going through a CD shop or something, you saw the cover art and, you had to pick it up.
Uh, it was honestly the one that comes to mind first is Hatebreed Satisfaction is the Death of Desire, just because
Yes.
the the cover's like baby blue,
Yeah.
but the logo looks insane. And it's like there's no way that this isn't for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I
man.
that was definitely one of them. And then Sepultura Chaos AD is another like just like what the fuck is that? I have to check it out.
Yes. Nice. I love that. And it's funny too with that, like that Satisfaction album. The I was talking with Matt from Hatebreed, and his new drum kit that he just got is all this like pastel, almost like baby blue. And I'm like, dude, it is such a juxtaposition as far as the sound, but God, it's so sick, man. Like
Yeah,
I love
it's
that.
weird how it works, but
Yeah.
it's perfect.
Yeah, for sure. So where does it go? You mentioned that both your parents were musical too. Where does it go as far as, fast forwarding a little bit into your interest in playing? What was the first instrument that you kind of dug into playing?
Drums for sure. There
Okay.
was always a kit set up, but my dad had them all tuned like flat as hell, 70s style. So I'm like
Yeah.
trying to create these tones that I hear on records, and it's literally impossible. Um,
Yeah.
but I just kept going, and it wasn't until I got my own kit that I like learned how to tune and stuff like that. But
Oh,
it was
okay.
definitely drums first, and I started with double bass right away, just trying to go as fast as I could.
Sheesh. Okay. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, was it something where you were trying to kind of mess around with the tunings there, and your dad's like slapping you in the back of your head, like, "Don't touch my shit, man. You can
No,
play them, but."
he didn't understand what I wanted, but I didn't understand that like drums weren't supposed to sound like that too. Like I was like, oh, I thought you recorded it and it magically sounded like that or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, it was a while before it sounded the way I wanted it to.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. That's a funny thing too. I mean, I think that's with any drummer when you first pick up the instrument, whether it's some super high class, Pearl Masters or just a cheap, lowest of the low, and you're just like, why the fuck doesn't this sound like what it would on like an album? I just don't understand. And it's like
Yeah,
finally you get little things that make it sound, a little bit closer, but it's like it's an eternity of a battle for sure.
yeah, it's weird.
Whereas, if you get a guitar, like, oh, okay, this sounds like the album. Like, shit, this is a little bit easier. Why the fuck am I messing around with drums now?
I don't know. People are in the search for a guitar tone for their whole lives.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's true. That's true. I mean,
Yeah,
I guess just as far as maybe even finding like a distortion or something,
sure.
with an amp, making it find a little or
Yeah, if you
sound a
get the
little bit
right
different.
amp, it'll sound good without much else.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. What were some, as far as drums, what were some early songs that, you wanted to learn to play and maybe something that took a little time, for you to listen and practice with that, took some time to learn?
Well, the things I started learning immediately were literally Hatebreed and Sepultura songs. That's basically all I would play. Uh,
Oh, shit.
for
Nice.
some reason, it took me a long time to figure out how to double time the hi-hat and play like a thrash beat. I couldn't get it, but it had a lot to do with the fact that I lead with my left hand, but I'm a righty. And
Hmm.
so I play open-handed.
Open-handed?
So I
Oh,
would see
okay.
videos of people playing, and I would have no idea how to mimic that really. So I just have to like figure it out. And for forever, I had the hardest time with fast beats, and it wasn't until I was like 14 or 15 that I was able to do it. But it took
Hmm.
a long
Weird.
time.
Okay.
And then, but I could do
Did you ever
double
try to
bass
reset?
way before that. Yeah,
Okay.
it's
Jesus,
weird.
yeah. Well, did you ever try to reset the drums as far as like a left-handed setup, or was it always something that you attacked right-handed?
I always tried it right-handed just because it didn't make sense for me to because I still led with my right foot, but
Oh,
I would
okay.
want to lead, or I still lead with my right hand when I do a fill,
Hmm.
but with a beat I just play open-handed for some reason.
Hmm. Weird. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, everybody's approach. You have somebody like Jimi Hendrix, where when he's trying to figure the shit out, you had to completely, change
Yeah.
the instrument around. So I mean, yeah, different people's approach is cool.
Yeah.
A difference is always, a good thing as well. With your dad's earlier kit, what was that? What do you remember as far as what were some of the earlier drum kits that you were playing on?
So I don't remember what he had. It wasn't like a Slingerland, but it kind of sounded like one, and he just had the
Hmm.
deadest heads of all time on it constantly. Um, but he always had like the dream to get a DW kit, and uh, I got the like Pacific kit after that, which is DW's like cheaper line or whatever. I had two of those
Okay.
before, and then I eventually, once I started touring, I finally got a DW. And then he just got his first
Oh, okay.
DW like maybe 5 years ago or something like that. But
Damn.
now his
Nice.
drum, I got
Nice.
him fresh heads and things like that, so he doesn't have the same problem.
You're like, let me help you out, man. You still
Yeah.
go over and it's still the same flat tone. You're like, God damn
Sometimes I get there and they're tuned a little high. It doesn't make a lot of sense. But I'll help him when I
it.
can.
Nice. That's funny. That's good. Now, so does he play out in bands or anything like that, or like? And you mentioned your mom playing piano too. Did they ever do anything active while
Um,
you guys were growing up?
Not super active. Basically, we came along and fucked up my dad's music career. Like
Oh yeah.
he was done with that. He started working in television. And then my mom, she played piano for a church for a really long time, and then later, now she's a music teacher. She's like a
Hmm.
private music teacher.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. One thing that I wanted to touch on, I had heard in an interview you mentioned as far as, just learning Slayer riffs, when guitar comes around and, that kind of helping, developing your playing. What were some of those riffs that really, kind of pushed your shit next level, from when you started playing guitar?
Angel of Death mosh part for sure. Just like it's less the riff part, that part's easy, but it's the like all that shit makes your left hand dexterity different. You got to use different fingers to get to different spots. So it like
Hmm.
forces it's like a lesson basically,
Right.
but it's only applicable to metal shit.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
it really that literally learning that riff kicked me up like 5 notches playing guitar.
Damn. Okay. Did you ever take guitar lessons at all? Like, how did guitar
Uh,
come into the picture?
Guitar came in the pictures because I grew up in a small town in Connecticut, and none of the people around me, some of them liked heavy stuff, but none of them liked hardcore as much as me. And I just wanted to write songs, and I couldn't with other people some of the time. But
Oh,
I
okay.
did have one friend who ended up being like amazing at guitar, but it was like sometimes the tastes would clash, so I just wanted to be able to write what was in my head, kind of.
Oh, okay.
So it was
Okay.
almost just out of necessity. And I ended up really liking guitar more over the years.
Oh, okay. And that's something still today you'd prefer playing guitar over playing drums?
I mean, yeah, it's playing drums. Playing drums the way I've been playing drums the last 10 years is like running a marathon. And that's not
Yeah.
fun. It
Yeah.
sounds cool, but it's not fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the loading and the breakdown, like if I ever got to the point where I could just not do that shit, I would enjoy the whole process a little more, I think.
Maybe, yeah.
Or I guess even bassists have it hard sometimes when they're trying to load in these fucking huge stacks and shit. It's like it's
Yeah.
all a little bit of a struggle, I guess, really.
Yeah. I mean, that's the worst single piece of equipment for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So earlier on too, as far as so you go from playing and doing different things, just jamming, by yourself and whatnot. I wanted to dig into earlier categories, like first of all, joining or making your first band. How did that come about?
I mean, my first band was in like fifth grade. We were
Nice.
initially called the Skaters, but with an 8 and a T, so it was like the
Oh
Skaters,
shit.
and a Z at the end,
I was gonna
and
say, is there a Z? Fuck
there's a Z,
yeah.
and we didn't like play any songs, but we would sit down at the instruments and attempt to play something, and nothing would happen, and then we would go outside and skate. So
Nice.
it was not just a clever name, but
Yeah.
eventually that same guitar player I was talking about, my friend Anthony, we stuck it out and kept trying to do bands, and eventually had one that actually played, and then I moved to California.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, and had
And
kind of start over.
so where like moving there, where did it go as far as did you have some friends from school that you initially ended up kind of meeting up with, or how did
Uh,
something come to fruition from there?
it was actually just well, so I got here, and the high school I was going to was on a really weird track system. So essentially, I got here in January,
Hmm.
and school didn't start till March. It's a bizarre
Really?
system that doesn't I don't think it happens anymore. And it actually stopped the next year. But yeah, I
Oh, okay.
basically had 2 summers that year for some reason. And so I got here, I had no friends, I had nothing to do. I started recording more and more songs. I eventually found there was a board at the time called CaliHardcore.com, and people would have listings of like, oh, searching for band members, and I met a couple people off that, and we started a band that was playing shows within like a year.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
So this kind of goes into the next thing as far as with playing your first shows. Where were some spots and maybe a memory as far as did it go well? Did your you know drum heads bust and anything like that? For first show happen.
Well, I couldn't really get on to shows, so the first thing I did here was book a show,
Oh, okay,
and
nice.
I was 16. I had no idea what I was doing. Uh, I put us in the middle of the show. I just got a bunch of bands that I had seen play. It was like 8 bands, way too many bands. And it was at this place called Studio S, which was in North Hollywood. I had shows for like 5 years or something like that.
Hmm.
And the people that ran the venue were kind of shitty, so they just like there were like maybe 50 people at the show. They just kept the money. And when the bands came to ask me for $50 for gas money, I'm like, what? I don't, they didn't give me any money. I'm 16. I just played the show. So it was everything of what not to do at first, but playing that show kind of made it so that we got on other shows. There was a place called the Cobalt Cafe, which is in this area, and we played there probably like 30 times over the next like 7 years or something like that.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, and so this it might not be something that necessarily has this huge answer or anything like that, but being 16 and having the idea of like, well, I don't see shows, so I'm just going to make one, kind of in the sense of the spirit of hardcore in general.
Yeah.
Where did that come from, kind of having the idea alone and, not so much, maybe even a community of like knowing that shit existed? Where did the idea come from of just like booking it?
Well, I would go to the shows, but I was so young that nobody's gonna pay attention to me, basically. So
Oh,
I just
got you,
kind of
got you.
and I would see these bands, and I would see people going crazy for them. So I'm like, oh, I want to play with that band. I want to play with that band.
Hmm.
And basically every band I played with at the time, like somebody from those bands are still around,
Oh, nice.
like
Okay.
in bands and playing shows.
Nice. Where does it go as far as with recording? The first time that you go into, even maybe a studio or a home recording, what kind of went into that whole process for the first time?
Uh, The first time I went into I recorded with people here, but none of the hardcore bands had enough money to go into a real studio. Even the big ones didn't really do that.
Mm.
And so we would, like, the drummer of one of the bands I was in recorded a lot of stuff. So the first like real recordings I did were with him, and they actually still hold up and sound pretty good.
Oh, nice.
But when I started playing guitar, I also started recording stuff just to be able to like make fake. I would make little CDRs of like fake albums that I would listen to like once and then throw away because they were all like I would just steal parts and make like weird amalgamations of songs. Um,
Okay.
and so I started doing that when I was like 15, and then by the time I was maybe 18, I had a couple bands come and do like just shitty demos with me on. I had a little 8-track recorder that I knew how to like blow out the sound on it to make it sound like it was huge, but I was doing everything wrong. But I did
Okay.
eventually like go and record with Kurt Blue and kind
Mhm.
of see how it should be done, and kind of changed my whole view of everything. And
Okay.
then every time I would go there, I would come back and fix something that wasn't correct.
Okay.
Um,
With those earlier ones, did you ever have an interest as far as like looking over the engineer or looking over whoever it was that was recording, or was it something a little bit
yeah,
further on?
I definitely learned the basics just from watching that dude
Oh,
record,
okay.
and
Okay.
and
Nice.
and so I kind of like I was like, oh, this is all you have to do, like learn the program. I learned the program just from sitting at home because I've been using the same program, which is Digital Performer, since like 2004 or something like that. So I
Oh,
already
wow.
had that kind of down. It was just a matter of how to get sounds into it that I changed over the years.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn. So we go from, talking with like studio time and different things, and then with playing shows, getting back to that a little bit. What are some things, maybe even more so recent, that's like a pre-show ritual, whether it be maybe even with drums or playing guitar, for a show. What are some things that kind of help you center yourself, or do you do a lot of practicing before a show?
Um, like days before the show, for sure, we do some practicing. Like moments before the show, I guess I didn't really have a ritual, really. I would get, if I sang in a band, and I would get riddled with anxiety to the point where
Oh,
like
okay.
almost every time that band would play, I would throw up like mid song, and have to hide it by doing like obituary vocals or something like that. Um,
Nice.
and that that took years to go away. But
Oh,
as
okay.
far as, but like basically what I mean is before a show, I would always feel basically terrible until we were on stage, just because I'd be
Mm.
fucking nervous. I still kind of have that, but
Oh, okay.
I'm used to it, so I just don't worry about it so much.
Kind of something with time that's just kind of pushed out of the way, where you're like, well, we're
Yeah,
get it
it's
done and
there, but
have some
I'm numb
fun.
to it. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. All
yeah.
right. What as far as, so going into like your first experience, actual recording and actual, being on the other end of things, what was, the experience with that, and maybe some of the tools that you had on hand? You mentioned that you've been using the same program for quite a while, but were there certain things that you didn't have that you had to, either acquire or make work for that first time recording another band?
So I definitely eventually had like a decent amount of microphones and things like that, and the first like real band that I recorded that actually got released was this band World of Pain from San Diego. I did their demo. I
Oh
had them
yeah.
come to my came they came to my practice space, and I tracked it with like the most basic microphones, but they got the job done. And it's basically just
Mm.
after that you can actually just listen to their discography, and it just gets, you can listen to the recordings get better. Um, the first three don't sound very good, and that's just because they just wanted me, they kind of wanted to sound old and shitty in a way,
Mm.
and so that's why they were kind of letting me test on them almost.
Oh, okay.
But I I did have this like weird innate knowledge of how to make a band sound big without maybe recording it properly, and
Oh, okay.
I ended up getting a lot of recordings just from that. And it wasn't until maybe like 2013 or something that I started tracking things and mixing things the right way.
Oh, damn. Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
But it
Have
was
you done
basically,
all of their stuff?
I did everything except for the thing that they did right before they broke up. They did some EP
Jesus Christ, I
basically
don't know that.
to like super fast so that they could go to Japan. And they asked me if that was cool. I'm like, we've almost done everything that we could do, so don't worry about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Have you ever had anything that comes to mind as far as maybe even initially like a happy accident, but maybe ended up molding your approach thereafter?
Uh, Maybe. I think there were certain things where I went out of my way to make something sound a certain way and didn't like research it. And then when I went
Mm.
to research it, it turned out to be the correct way, which is
Oh.
like, okay, so that's how somebody else got to this almost like just by so
Okay.
that was kind of fun to see a couple times, like with guitar tones or like miking a drum kit and things like that.
Oh, damn. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
You mentioned in quality too. That was kind of something that came to, my mind as far as like with somebody like Pig Destroyer, for instance. You listen to their records and some of them are just like, pretty haggard as far as for coming out in the 2000s. Has there ever been anything that's come, across your table as far as that you're working on and they want it to be something, sonically that maybe you don't agree with, but ends up, turning out a lot better than what you initially thought? Without
Uh,
putting out there like personals. I don't want this to be like shitty or anything, but
well, I have this my friend's band called Minus, which is a hardcore band from here.
yeah, hell yeah.
Basically, every time we do a record, it's a battle between me and them because they literally want it to sound horrible. They're like, no, no, literally put it in a trash can and light it on fire and then push record. And I'm like, I have a recording career. Like, I can't just make it sound like they literally had me record drum tracks with an iPhone in the room because they like how the iPhone drum tracks sound. So in the mix on
Oh
their
my
recent
God.
record, there's a straight up iPhone track. Um, and but like
Damn.
but
That's insane.
I respect that as like an artistic uh point. And the record does sound good, but it was just
Yeah,
kind of like
totally.
this like if I let it happen, it would have sounded literally like a 4-track tape, but they still wanted all the microphones and things like that. And then there's a band I'm
Damn.
in called Criminal Instinct that me and
Uh-huh.
the singer are always having the same fight where he's like, no, just more distortion, more distortion. And the last record that we did, literally the whole I put the entire mix through distortion at the end. But which I
Oh
do
shit.
I like how it sounds and but that's all him just like shittier, just make it shittier.
Oh, damn. That right. And it's
Yeah.
one thing where like sometimes I guess as far as a fan myself, there's certain things where sonically initially hearing it, I'm like, man, I just don't agree with. But there's other things where it's like, you know what? I mean, like that's the direction that they're going for. That's
Yeah.
kind of what they're wanting out of this. Like, fuck it. And then you listen to the music or you hear it live, and it gives it a little bit of a certain angle and different image too. But yeah, I love hearing that. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Especially the iPhone thing. That's fucking hilarious.
it is funny. Like basically you can listen to any record and I would say 9 times out of 10 if there's something that sounds weird, it was on purpose. Like there's a band I mixed that we literally sat here for I think 5 days, me and the singer guitar player mixing the record. He had this vision in his head. We put it down, and I see YouTube comments of people like the mix this, the mix that, and I'm like, well, this is his vision, so YouTube comments can fuck off, basically.
Yeah, right, right. I mean, and that's a hard thing too with so many different people's having those different outlets or having YouTube or having, Facebook and different things where it's like, you don't necessarily know the whole picture as far as like,
Yeah,
oh, this guy's production's terrible. It's like, well, this is what they wanted, man. You can't sit here and dog on that. So
yeah.
yeah. That's a shame.
Well, it
With
didn't really bother me because I was like, this was, I mean, what do they know better than the band that wanted it to be a certain way, you know?
totally,
Yeah.
totally, yeah, definitely. With time passing and recording more and more and having different bands and maybe even different uh, aspects or the genre of heavy expanding. Have there been different things that you keep on hand in the studio? Maybe something initially that you wouldn't have had, but now is kind of a go-to to keep on hand. Maybe snares or guitars, anything like that, pedals.
Um, I mean, I've had a lot of the same stuff forever, but really it's just kind of a matter of it's more constant and more and more and more.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, and basically just having options. Every mic, every pedal, every amp, everything is it's a different flavor that maybe you don't know is the right answer. So you do a lot of testing with on records, like check guitar tones, test amps, test guitars, pickups.
Mm.
There's a million little options to make something sound a certain way.
Yeah. Totally. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
some of them are only like 1% to 5% differences between things.
yeah. Right. But I think like you're mentioning too, as far as having the options and having the things on hand, where it's like, well, try this.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you expanding on the studio right now, or is that something that you're moving, or why?
Well, space is definitely my enemy. It's a small place, but I'm installing a mixing console in the next week or two.
Oh
And
shit!
that's
Nice.
the first expansion. Hopefully, I can get a bigger space in the next 5 years. But I live in California, where everything is a fucking $1 million. So
Right.
it's gonna be a while.
Yeah, sure, sure. No,
Yeah.
nice. So I wanted to touch on here's starting to talk in a little bit of God's Hate as far as the new album that just came out this last March. What can you tell us about the album opener, number one, that eerie guitar feedback intro, as far as pulling in the listener into the rest of the track in the album? What can you tell us about that intro there? Some of the
So
sounds.
my brother is the overall like mastermind behind this, and we never God say I recently joined. Basically,
Right.
I was coaxed into joining for real. But it made sense at the time. So and I've always helped creatively, so it's not there's nothing really different about the record
Yeah.
that wouldn't have happened if I wasn't in the band. But I guess it's just really to set the mood, and the band's never really had like an intro, and so you kind of just wanted to finally do something like that, and just set it off with like four mosh parts in a row, you know.
just
Uh,
having a good start for sure.
yeah, the feedback is it does just kind of make it it builds the anticipation a little bit in a nice way.
Okay.
It's
How
some
did you end
it's
up getting involved with this record as far as with playing guitar? Because Colin ended up playing drums on this, right?
Yeah, I think just something happened. He realized he's not the guitar player maybe he should be at this point in time. Because he basically learned guitar to start a band with Brody King.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
had been bought. He was like, this was maybe 2012 or something. He was like, hey, let's do a band.
Hmm.
And so my brother bought a guitar. He could already play a little bit. We had an acoustic that he would just chug away on.
Oh,
But
okay.
but he bought this guitar just to learn to play in a band, and just never really got to the point where he was good at playing it live. He could write the songs, he could play the riffs, but live he just was like, well, what am I doing? So
Okay.
he is legitimately great at drums.
Yeah.
So that just made more sense, and he still wrote probably like 90% of the record on guitar, but I could play it well.
Oh, okay. Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. So a little bit of the mix of two, but a lot of the influence still. Because yeah, I was going to mention too. I think this was that this was your first record that you were playing like actually on. I know you were
Yeah.
involved with all of them, but okay. As far as sound clips, with every track having, some sort of an introduction, what have been some of your favorites, through the years of listening to hardcore and metal? What are some of your personal favorite sound clips and albums?
Well, back to Hatebreed Satisfaction. It all kind of stems from that. It sets like an emotional vibe that you almost can't get from like me just saying something to the mic. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It kind of
totally.
brings up like a nostalgic familiarity if you've seen the movie, or it just there's always some kind of score going on in the background, and it makes you feel a certain way when you hear it.
Yeah.
And especially if it ends with a fucking gunshot, then it's a devastating moment.
Nice, nice. I have to say one of the ones that still sticks out to me too is the first Casey Jones record that starts out with God, now I'm gonna completely fuck this up. I'm saying that I remember it and I can't remember the sensei part. Jesus, do you know what I'm talking about or no?
No.
Oh my god, dude, it's so sick. Casey Jones ripped. They were like a straight edge band. Josh James was the singer of the band, and some
Mm.
of it was kind of ridiculous. But damn, I'm gonna have to pull up that clip and edit it in or some shit like that. Now I sound like a dumbass.
I'm sure
So
you'll find it.
as far as yeah, as far as the bumper sticker. Now this was something. Was that something of Colin's idea as far
Yes.
as like seeing it on a display or something, or seeing it playing on a radio?
No, it's just if you see a funny idea, it's something that came from Colin. Just because he's always he. I mean, the band is tongue in cheek in general. Like,
Yeah,
obviously we're all fucking 6 feet tall, whatever. Yeah, we're big, but like you can't fully get into that and take it seriously. Then it ends up being a fucking corn fest.
yeah,
So there's always a lighthearted element to it where it's like, yeah, maybe the band could beat you up, but we're gonna laugh about this thing over here. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna take a picture and
yeah.
fucking in front of salsa and beer.
Right.
Like that's just
Yeah, right.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
The bumper
sick,
sticker
nice.
was just like he realized that th there was we actively called it God's Hate, but normally a self-titled album, it's like a lazy thing, you know?
Hmm.
Where it's like, oh, we
Yeah,
can't come up with a title. Let's do God's Hate, or we can't do a cool title. None of the song titles work as an album title. So we were just like, well, why don't we do a self-titled album, but then do a self-titled song and just literally make it as ignorant as possible. And then I
okay.
think somebody else said, "Be right back. I'm listening to the song God's Hate by the band God's Hate on the album God's Hate," or something like that. And he was like, "Oh, that literally sounds like a bumper sticker, so I'm just gonna make it."
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
That rule. Is that something that's gonna keep just on like a bumper sticker? Or are you guys gonna slap that on shirts and shit, or any
Uh,
other ideas
I
with
don't
it?
I don't know if we'll run too far with it. I think that the joke has extended its reach.
Run its course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Nice. Yeah. You gotta know at the limits of something without pushing it too far. And it's like, okay, we got it.
Yeah, of
Respectable for
course.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure. All right. Next, I wanted to dig into. So we got twitching tongues. As far as writing and recording disharmony and gaining purpose through passionate hatred. There was also filming as far as for when you guys were in the studio. That old Metal Blade, put up on I think on their YouTube page.
Yeah.
Um, did that add any pressure as far as with the whole process of writing and working in the studio, being
Uh,
filmed?
no, but only because they didn't come on like super important days. They would just come like the dude Vince who filmed the stuff, he would just kind of come on whenever they could. So we would just kind of do whatever we were doing that day. But we would almost always have like the main tracking done.
Mhm.
Even when they came to Sound City for the Gaining Purpose footage stuff, we had already done like 90% of the record. So
Oh,
he just
okay.
caught like a little bit of it, basically. We had already done a whole day and he came for the second day. And that's
Oh,
pretty much
okay.
how it was
Nice.
for both of them. Like all the meat had been done, so he would just capture some fun stuff and move on. Notice there's not a lot of footage of like rhythm guitars being tracked. It's all like lead guitars, things that we're just kind of tacking on.
Okay. Okay. And interesting too, you mentioned as far as like your mom playing piano, was some of that inspired as far as with the stuff that's in Twitching Tongues? You know, are those some of those parts, the piano parts of those things that either of you guys or anybody, you know, discusses with your mom or influences from her?
She played them all.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Holy shit. No kidding.
So
Wow.
yeah, if you go even back to the first record, Sleep Therapy, I think there's a song. I think there's a song on every record where she played guitar or where she played piano.
Oh
And
shit.
she
Okay.
would kind
Well,
of
because I was
help.
going to mention on the video, it has Colin playing something. I was thinking that he was playing
He would
those.
write a majority of it, and then she would kind of turn it into real piano.
Oh wow.
Or we
No
would have an
shit.
idea. He would have an idea, and she would kind of flesh it out. The song "Long Gone" on Gaining Purpose was like really
Yeah.
just him and her wrote a song, and then I came and put electric guitars over it.
Damn. No kidding. Wow.
Yeah,
Now, I mean, have you guys gotten your dad involved in any of the recording at all?
he is. I would say he's number one supporter in that, but like as far as performing, no, not yet, but it has been discussed for sure, and it's something that like we have songs and like we have dedicated albums to him and stuff like that because he's
Totally.
still kind of the like he's the driving he's without him we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of
Right.
like
Right.
yeah, it's basically that, but maybe eventually
Yeah.
we get him slapping a skin or two. Because he does rip. He sometimes he needs to focus.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, but that's awesome as far as your mom actually playing the parts and having that involved too with like the records. That's sweet. I didn't
yeah.
know that shit. I don't even remember seeing that in the liner notes or anything. So yeah, that
I
rocks.
think
That's
they're in
cool.
there. She might just be credited as playing piano, but she's definitely credited in
Oh,
them
okay.
all. Most I only know that because she would be like, "What's my credit gonna say?" Kind of. But
Okay.
or like, how is this gonna
Make
be
sure you
worded?
bastard.
Yeah, well, because
Yeah. Okay.
there was something for one of her uh music schools that she worked for where like it helped her to have actual performance credits on albums,
Oh wow.
and so
Wow.
she was able to use that.
Nice. That
Yeah.
rules. That rules. With as far as in one of the interviews, I think you were mentioning something with Kill for You, including parts that were kind of long time rejected or not used, and eventually came together for that track. What were some of the parts, and what was it with
Well,
them that just wasn't working?
that one, it's the whole song. Um, Basically, I was kind of fighting against the ballads for a really long time,
Uh,
and so Disharmony like has one, and it's still really heavy, and basically Disharmony was made. Is a guitar record,
uh,
and Twitching Tongues is kind of a vocal band. I didn't
hmm
leave a lot of room for them. It's riff dense. Like there's probably like 250 riffs on the record or something like that. And so Gaining Purpose, I was like, well, I was probably wrong about Disharmony, so let's put all the shit you got into this one. You know, we'll make a couple riffy songs, but like we'll do all the things that you wanted to do before. And
Oh, okay.
I do think
Okay.
Gaining Purpose is as a package overall better. But yeah,
Oh, nice.
it
Wow.
was just kind of those things where it's like some of the guitar playing is super simple, but some of it is just more like notey or classic chord stuff. And
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to be metal all the time, and so he wanted to go Danzig, Faith No More, kind of shit like that. So
Okay.
I
Okay.
finally just let it happen.
Damn. Nice.
But
Okay. That's
I
sweet.
love that track, and I think it's like, well, I don't I think we only played it on one tour or something, but I think if we
Mm.
play when or if we play again, we'll be busting that one out.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I think that's something too, where necessarily something that isn't striking with you at first. You give it a little time, and it comes back, and it's like, all right, that's not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, largely he likes pop music and aggressive music,
Yeah.
whereas like I only fucking like aggressive music. to a degree. Like
Okay.
that's all I give a shit about. So to get a blend of the two is I'm resisting usually, admittedly.
Okay. All right. You're standing off to the side when you're playing live. You're like, all right, I'll get this one out of the way and let me get back to my riffs next
I
here.
I do like it. Like there's some pop things I enjoy. So like I I do love the track, and I obviously we started a band with singing in it, so I like melody. You know, it's just a matter of a certain kind.
Yeah,
And
sure,
that one
sure.
initially was like, what? This just sounds like a rock song, but it is a great song.
Yeah, for sure. With next I wanted to mention or kind of touch on the disharmony cover art. Kind of striking me as a very 70s, 80s Fulci type like horror style. What can you tell us about that cover art? And then kind of moving into the music video for disharmony as far as kind of visualizing. Was there an idea as far as that you guys had
Uh,
to bring that cover art into like a video? Off from the start.
Sort of. That was definitely the initial inspiration for the video. But when we did a 7 inch for Preacher Man, and we did a photo cover that
Oh
just
yeah.
it was a very simple black and white photo cover, and then for the following album we did the same thing. And so for Disharmony, what we wanted to just kick it up, have color, and our friend Scott McGrath did all three of those covers, and we just had this like bizarre image in our head, and he really put it together. We took the photos in the studio like and sent it to him, and he just threw it together. Scott actually runs the label Maggot Stomp,
Oh
but
yeah.
yeah,
Oh okay.
but
Okay.
he's an insane graphic designer. Like literally, just if you give him direction, he's got it in fucking 30 minutes.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah,
That rules.
but yeah,
And then
he knocked that one out of the park.
so what from that went into the music video then as far as was that like a collaborative thing through the band as far as creating a story behind all of that, or was that something just from one of you guys
Um, it was more the director
or
that
the
kind of came
director?
up. He came up with the story, but we were like, well, I think he just saw the cover and was like, okay, blood, yeah, we can do skull, we can do all this, and then just put it in the video. And then he
Okay.
kind of came. It's like a weird, just like ritual happening. And two of our friends are the actors, and
Oh, okay.
it's actually the guitar player of the band Minus I talked about, who really wanted things to sound like shit. He is the guy in the video,
Oh, damn.
and
Okay.
then the girl is the girlfriend of the guy that's on our first 7 inch cover. Yeah,
Okay. All right. Keep it tight, a close
kinda.
group for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice, nice. So I wanted to ask lastly here, if something if a label, like Closed Casket or Metal Blade or someone approached you and wanted to make a Taylor Young compilation, so this is 5 tracks from any of your bands. What 5 songs would you include on this bad boy?
Uh,
All over the years, even if we're going back to 5th grade with the Skaters, you know what I'm
well, none of those for sure.
saying?
Uh, I don't know. That's tough. I would definitely put, probably specific songs. Fuck, I probably should have written this down. Um, I don't know. Maybe I like Twitching Tongues AWOL. That's probably my favorite song, just
Yeah.
because it's got a massive intro. The riffs are some of my favorites, and the chorus moves in a weird way. Like he was almost not able to sing it straight through. We had to do like the first half, the second half, and then the harmony of the first half and the harmony of the second half.
Oh,
Because
weird.
the way it works is like it sounds fluid, but it's like not fluid to sing. And listening to it, I always
Huh.
hear it in that way, and it sounds super unique to me. And I really love that song. We only played it like 5 times or something like that, just
Oh
because it,
shit.
it
Okay.
is so crazy for him to sing.
Oh right.
But on recording, like it sounds like a weird barrage of riffs and melodies that almost don't make that much sense over how hard a riff they are.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
And then I guess I would do maybe uh, Preacher Man is probably uh, one that did a lot for us as just as musicians.
Nice.
Um, I guess I would do Nails Made to Make You Fail. That's
Oof.
that's probably my favorite song we ever did.
Okay.
Eyes of the Lord Should Be. That was probably my favorite song on that record.
Nice.
And maybe Criminal Instinct, The Virus. I really like.
Oof.
Yeah, that one's my favorite
Hell yeah.
off that record.
Hell yeah. Nice. I mean, that'd be a good comp. Shit.
Yeah,
People would pick that up. I
it'd be
have no
short.
doubt in that. Yeah. How the hell is this thing $10? It's fucking 4 minutes long.
Yeah,
No, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. This is wrapping up. As far as my questions that I do have here, I wanted to keep it, in true twitching tongues fashion, have it 9 questions here. But I do have one
nice.
finale before I get to that. If this is your opportunity as far as letting everybody know what maybe some new things that are going that you're working on, or some things that are coming up. What's going on? What's new with you, man?
So Colin and I started like a new, I would call it a death metal band called Dead Body when we're playing our first show in September
Whoa.
with Regional Justice Center. So it's me, Colin, our friend Miles, who plays guitar in this band, Apparition, who's he's an insane jazz guitar player, like literally has a degree in jazz guitar, and he writes these just ridiculous solos. And Apparition actually has a new album recorded that's going to come out eventually.
Oh man.
And then on drums is my friend George Herrera, who plays drums in Despise You, Infest,
Oh
ACXDC,
yeah.
Vile
Oh
Life, like a
shit.
million bands. Yeah, he's unbelievable. He's got like the stamina on drums that I always wish I had. And we're really psyched about this. Like basically, I was hoping to have that record out last summer, but
Oh.
pandemic hit, and I really just didn't want to be a pandemic band
Oh right.
and put it
Right.
out in the middle of it. So we've just been sitting on it, and we're all really psyched to do it as a band.
Damn. Okay.
Um,
So what are you and Colin doing in the band?
I'm playing guitar and singing, and he's playing bass and singing.
Shit. That
Yeah, so
rules. Damn.
it's a little
Is there a
different than anything
standalone
we've done.
vocalist, or is it just the two? Is it
No,
the two of you?
just the two of us. Yeah,
Sick. Damn.
yeah.
That rips. That's gonna be awesome.
So that'll
What?
be that'll be fun.
When did you? Is there anything planned as far as a release for that? I know you mentioned like this last year you didn't want to, but is it still something that's kind of in the making?
So we ended up just taking more time to do the record, and
Okay.
it's kind of taking a bit longer. So we just decided let's just like usually we do this thing where it's like, oh, new band, here's the demo, here's the show. We're gonna do this kind of thing where we just play a couple shows and just be a normal Los Angeles band for a bit, and then put out some music.
Damn,
Yeah,
that's sweet. That's sweet. Yeah, I mean, it's nice that now things are opening up a little bit too, to where it's more of a thing in sights, and it's not so much of a question. But yeah, certainly, that'll be sick whenever you guys get some stuff going again.
yeah,
Sweet,
it's gonna be sick. Yeah, uh, and
awesome.
then I do have more material for that solo project I did last year called Zeus.
Oh
So
yeah, nice.
that's actually at press and should come out soon. I'm just not
Ooh
sure when.
shit.
Pressing plants are like a year backed up, and it's kind of fucked every label.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and so like there are records that are done now that won't come out till June next year,
Yeah,
which is
yeah. My
so fucked up.
my band's in the same situation. We're basically like a year and a half out, which it sounds like they're supposed to be coming back finally.
Hopefully,
But yeah, but that's the same situation too. So yeah, you can just hope and do some things in the meantime. And I mean, I think that's the one thing that the hardcore community has, as opposed to maybe like the heavy rock or metal
yeah,
or something where it's a little bit more of a patience, as far as getting a good quality product as opposed to just shit every other couple of months, or whatever.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. So for this is a little bit of a doozy here, as far as for this last finale here. But I wanted to put you in this spot, asking you. You get to be a part of a super group. All right. This is 5 members, you and then 4 others. Okay, from any other bands that you absolutely love, and you get to record one song from each of these other bands. Who would be in this band, and what 5 songs would you guys re-record for this super group compilation?
Do they have to be alive?
So first off, 5 members. Nope.
They can be dead.
Yeah. If that makes it easier. If it makes it harder, then fuck that.
I would say, well, my first is Pete Steele.
Oh, yes.
So I would probably opt to not re-record anything, but he would be in on bass and vocals for sure. Re-recording things like taking a classic band's songs and re-recording them is never better, ever.
Yeah.
There's a reason it's a classic. You fuck with the way the recording's molded, even, or just like the way it was performed. It is like, take that. There's a fucking In Flames reissue of where they re-recorded half of the album Clayman, and it's the worst thing you have ever heard. It's like there is no planet where you should have done this. And so it's just like, when I think about re-recording classic things, I'm like, oh, absolutely not. But for sure, him nice. on bass and vocals, guitar.
Okay. Let's go with the super group that you're a part of. We'll ixnay the old re-recording.
Okay. Super group. If it's a super group, I should probably play drums, because almost everybody is better at guitar than me.
Okay.
And I would get maybe Trey Morbid Angel on guitar.
Oof.
Vocals, fuck. That one's a tough one. Oh, well, Pete's already singing, so fuck it.
I was gonna say, is he singing and bass?
He's singing and bass. So I guess second guitar, they'd have to keep up with Trey.
Yeah.
It's
a tough go.
I'm gonna go with a 3-piece. I think it's gonna be a sick band. I think that's what we should do.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds ripping. I love that. Yeah, and old Peter Steele. I mean, that's one of those cats. As far as I think for his playing, for his bass playing, he's very underrated or not really spoken about. It's always kind of like the vocal, approach, or like the sex appeal, to him. But as far as his bass playing, like the tones, that dude ripped.
That's the thing, is he treated the bass like a guitar.
Yeah.
He did this like split system with his bass. So he would split the signal into 2 amps. 1 amp was like the low end and the actual bass, and the other one was just being treated like a guitar, where it was like all distortion, all high end, and just like in your face, directly in the center.
Oh shit.
And that shit, like, it was, well, and so if you look at even videos of like right before they stop playing, you can see that sometimes he'll have his bass cab right next to him, pointed in his ear, and it'll be some like complicated split cabinet situation, and he'll have his fucking wine bottle on top, taking sips in the middle.
Okay. Yeah, no shit. I mean, I guess I do recall seeing that, but never really even thinking of checking into what the story behind that. That's sick. I never knew that shit. That rules.
It's wild shit.
Yeah, dude. Look, man, this has been absolutely amazing. I really appreciate your time. This has been awesome. I look forward to all the projects that you have coming up, dude. And thank you very much for the time today. This has been sweet, dude.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. You stay safe. Lo-fi horror guy, my dude, Taylor Young. Take care, man.
Peace.
He's a lo-fi horror guy. Yeah, he's kind of a guy, but he is so lo-fi a horror guy. Yeah. Lo-fi horror guy has been recorded in front of a live studio audience.